Okay, out of all these options, which of these would work best for Guts from Berserk? Now, first, I'm going to go over the ones that I definitely don't see working for him, and then I'll lastly go over the ones that I think he would most work with. So the first two out are the Blue Beetle Scarab and the Mark 85. Not only do their aesthetics just don't really work with Guts, but I also don't think he's going to really be that innate with tech, like super advanced tech. I don't think Guts really works with stuff like that. Next, Dr. Fate's helmet is out because although powerful and having like holy powers would work really well against the demons, the moment Guts finds out that if he puts on the helmet, it will basically get rid of his own consciousness and he'd effectively be replaced by Naboo, yeah, he would turn that down immediately. Specifically, the Carnage symbiote I think is out because Carnage is way too much of a wild card. Like, sure, he would get powerful, but on top of dealing with apostles, this thing's also going to slaughter everyone else that gets in his way, even if they look at him funny. So, Guts' allies are more than likely going to die just as quickly as the apostles around them. And lastly, out of the no-go options is Shazam's powers, because although they are powerful, again, I just don't think that they really fit for Guts. So, out of all those options, I've reduced it down to 4. We've got Batman's Hellbat armor, we've got the Venom symbiote, we've got the all-black Necro sword, and specifically, the Red Lantern ring. Now I'm going to go over those options and rank them from what I think is the best option for him and the worst option. And dead last out of the possible good options, so again, I'm saying this is a bad option, but still one you could go with, is the Hellbat armor. Because it has a similar downside to the Berserker armor where the more you use it, it slowly kills you. So if we're looking for the literal best option, we shouldn't go with something that is a detriment to use. Sure, it might give him a power boost big enough to take on the people that he can't do normally, but the cost is just as bad as the Berserker armor, so it just really doesn't seem worth it. Interchangeably between second and third place, I'd say is between the Venom symbiote and the Red Lantern ring. The Venom symbiote would have so much versatility, it would extend his lifespan, it would do all this type of thing, give him a healing factor. It could likely even heal any possible ailments that he's gotten from overuse of the Berserker armor, so it would be extremely useful for him. Now, for third place, I'd give it to the Red Lantern ring. It would be extremely powerful in his hands because of the amount of dormant rage this man has. Hell, it's not even dormant, it is on the fucking forefront for him. His constructs would literally be just seeping rage. His whole body would have like this mist just pouring out of him from all the excess rage in him. But the downside about this ring is you basically only can feel rage. Like, if anything, it's just going to make his mental health worse than it already is, because it's going to accentuate everything negative in his mind. Hell, this might just straight up make it to where Guts disappears, and what's in control is the Beast of Darkness entirely. So you know what? Scratch that. This doesn't even make it in the top 3. Put it in the same corner I put everything else, because it would just be a detriment to Guts. So yeah, Red Lantern ring, gone. Now we only have 3 contenders. Hellbat in third. Now for these last 2, these are the top 2. I could see them both being equally useful in Guts' hands. Both of these are amazing options for him. For second place, I'm going with Venom. Currently, Venom is a good guy. He is going to make his host as good as possible. He's going to make sure that his well-being is as good as possible. Heal any ailments. Give him just an overall healing factor in general. Massively amplify his stats. And seeing as Venom not only bonds to you physically, but you and the host's mind kind of merge together, could also basically restrain the Beast of Darkness. Venom would be more than capable of keeping Guts in a competent mental state without fully succumbing to his rage from that point onward. And on top of that, he would no longer have a need for the Berserker armor, and any lasting damage that he sustained from the Berserker armor could be healed thanks to Venom. And lastly, number 1, at least my number 1, is the Necro Sword. And it comes down to a couple things. Not only because of the astronomical stat boost that is going to give him capacity to deal with the God Hand single-handedly, without having to worry about risking the lives of his companions. But, speaking about his companions, he would also be able to guarantee their safety, and anyone else's safety that he ever felt like, because of the soldiers you could summon with the Necrosword. Keep in mind, you could just take a couple of these soldiers and they are already enough to protect and fight against the likes of a Thor. Like, you could use soldiers alone to deal with strong gods. And you could straight up summon an army of these things. So if Guts truly wanted to ensure that no one would ever die again from demons that are going to try and stay around him, like what's been happening throughout the story, he could just spawn one, maybe two of these shadow soldiers that will fully listen to any command he gives them and give everyone he cares about a personal god level soldier. And you know what's crazy? The God Hand, although being demons, might technically classify as a type of god. So, with every God Hand member he slays, he could theoretically get a boost comparable to their power with every time he strikes one down. And hell, let's just say the God Hand would keep finding new members to replace them. None of them would ever be able to become strong enough to last more than however long it takes Guts to track down them when he finds out there's a new one. Unironically, if Guts truly wanted to, he himself would never need to even fight the God Hand himself. Obviously, he would specifically want to fight Griffith. But if he didn't want to worry about dealing with the other ones, he could just summon a couple of his shadow soldiers, and those would be enough to deal with the God Hand. But all I know for certain is Guts is going to prioritize dealing with Griffith in the slowest and most painful way conceivably possible with his new godlike power.